This is the GQ Coaches Show. Now, get ready to chop it up with your hosts, Coaches G and Q, for the real talk in sports.
Well, we also, Coach Quick, man, what's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Coach G? You want to know what's popping with Coach Q tonight? Well, man, Coach Q is excited. I'm excited about the doubleheader on Monday Night Football tonight. I tell you what, we had some impactful games on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. And, man, just to be able to sit across from you and chop it up in our new format here via Zoom, man, this is what it's all about. Let's get rocking and rolling and chop it up about these big happenings in college football, professional football, and in the sports realm, period.
I can't agree. You're exactly right. And I got to go here, man. You know what? As I sat here and watched these ball games this weekend, I'm just like, you know what? I don't understand where these coaches are coming from when they're taking cheap shots. When I say taking cheap shots, I'm going to start with the note. I'm going to start from the last game and move in reverse order. So the Notre Dame game versus Notre Dame versus Ohio State. To me, the Ohio State coach absolutely was not professional at the end of the ball game, right? How's he going to call out Lou Holtz? Man's 80-something years old, won a national championship, and he loses his mind on national Who else is Lou Holtz is only coached Notre Dame at that level in the Power 5, but yet he's going to turn around, and this coach at Ohio State, I ain't going to call his name. I got it right here, but I ain't going to give him, I just can't go there. I really struggled how he did that at the end of the ball game. Your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, Coach G, you're absolutely correct with your comments there. Coach Day should never have, fed into that at the end of the ball game. It took away from what was an exceptional ball game between his Ohio State Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He should have just let it be. Case in point, Coach Holtz motivated your ball club. That's all you needed. That's all you needed. Your ball club came out. They were physical. They showed that they belonged, and they represented the state of Ohio pretty well on Saturday night by beating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, because I actually had picked Notre Dame to beat them.
Oh, that's what I went with Notre Dame too, but I just can't get over these coaches just losing their mind. You know what? And I know I'm gonna go here, and everybody goes like, "Well, we want to talk to the coach at the end of the ball game," but when you can't control your emotions at the end of the ball game, and like you said, instead of just stepping to the mic and say, "Listen, my guys brought it." I know there were some folks out here saying this and saying that, I get it, man. But I really, really struggled with him doing what he did at the end of the ball game. Win, lose, or draw, you got to take the high road and just keep your emotions in check and move on. But again, quality of the game, I was rolling with Notre Dame myself and came up on the short end. So with that, let's go on out there to the Colorado Buffs. I'll let you kick this one off.
Well, you know what, Coach G? The Oregon coach came out. He said some things on Saturday before the game, talking about Coach Prime and his ball club. They're fighting for clicks and likes instead of fighting for wins, and his ball club was fighting for wins. I don't get why these coaches are coming after Coach Prime. I mean, he's been the exact same way that he is now from when he played. All he's doing is instilling confidence in his kids that he loves. And Coach Prime, from his playing days at Florida State, playing days in the NFL, from playing Major League Baseball, he's always had a type of swagger that he just brought with him. And so now he's bringing it to the game of college football. He's doing it in his own shoes. He's coaching it the way that he sees fits, and he's instilling his confidence in these kids that he loves. I mean, case in point, the ball game the other week that went to overtime with Colorado State, the Rocky Mountain Shootout. Well, Joe Horn Jr., he had some problems in the game. So, Coach Prime just wrapped his arms around him and told him, "I love you." The kid went out there and made a big time play in overtime to help seal the victory for Colorado.
There you go.
So I just don't get why these coaches are coming at him. I mean, he just brings a type swagger to the game the same swagger that he played with for years. So why are you coming after him now?
Exactly right. So here's my take, right? And people can say, well, Coach, listen, Dion has been Dion, and the way he is ever since the first time he laced his cleats up. But
Yes,
now,
sir.
instead of being grateful, first of all, and I can't take credit for this. I heard this when I was, watching the game with my cousins and my brothers. Is the number one thing one of my cousins said, who's been following football like for 50 plus years. He said Colorado, excuse me. He says Oregon has always been on at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. When did they have a game on that? When did they have a prime time game? Not until they get the playoffs. So now, therefore, you can't take that. Now you're gonna talk about, oh, we worry about winning football games instead of clicks. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and call this out, Coach. These dudes are scared, right? And they're
Yes,
scared
sir.
because, just like Coach Prime said, if you're gonna beat me, you better beat me now, right? They're scared they're gonna lose
Yes,
recruits.
sir.
Well, he's not gonna get everybody. He's not gonna get everybody. He's gonna get enough what he needs in order to win. Now, prediction going into the game Saturday, Colorado was supposed to be 0-3 going
Yes,
into
sir.
that game, or 0-2, right? But then so they beat TCU, they turn around, beat Nebraska, and then they beat the Colorado State. So they said it should have been 0-3, but then they go in the court. You know what? But like Dion said, or Coach Prime said, nobody's in here dry, nobody's in here crying, bawling. No, get dressed, get on the plane, and we got work to do. And like then he asked me, he says, why are you guys acting like you playing against me instead of playing against Colorado? And then take it all. These I just don't get it, man. Don't be offended because I come in, I'm on 60 Minutes in the last 2 years, and I'm putting college football on the map, and then the coach had nerve enough at halftime to talk about, I hope you watch. If you watched last week, I hope you keep watching. I'm just like, dude, why? That's what I'm talking about. That's emotions. You're jealous, you're envious of somebody. You know what? My thing is this. I'm playing you. Say if you Coach Prime and I'm playing you with a prayer. You know what, Coach? I can't wait to Saturday. We're gonna get on between the lines. Number one, you're gaining exposure. I'm gaining exposure. It's great for college football. And you know what? And the best team on that day is gonna win. And leave it alone. But no, he got to come out and say, if you got to go to those tactics to motivate your team, you got problems.
Yes, sir.
And that's what
I,
Dion was
I
saying.
agree, coach.
It's just like, man, what do you have to do in order to get out and just play the game and not lose your mind in that process? So we're gonna go ahead and get off. You better be glad I ain't got my white Stetson, man. I put that Stetson on and put me some of my blocker shades on and be rocking and rolling. Doing maybe we'll come out in our prime outfit next week. And then some of these, like, and I watched a thing on Reggie Bush. You should be embarrassed. These jokers coming out and just trying to throw Coach Prime under the bus. You know what? He's playing by the rules. He opened up the portal and he went and got 86 guys and put them
Yes,
in
sir.
there. People say, well, he cleaned house. Well, first of all, they went 1-10. Fire all the coaches and get rid of them 1-10 ball players. Because if you would have kept everybody, would you turn around and went 1-10 again? No, you can't. I mean, come on, the man's a Hall of Famer. He's the greatest cover corner that's ever played the
Yes,
game
sir.
of football. And now you're gonna turn around and don't think he doesn't have the skill set or the knowledge or the prime effect to come in. Let me put it this way right here. Everybody that's gonna listen to the show gonna wish they either had a hotel, a restaurant, or something in Boulder, Colorado. Because right now everybody pocket swole. Right? So you can say what you want to. So
Yeah,
you
that's the case.
go ahead.
Uh, You're absolutely correct, Coach G. I guarantee you, the folks in Boulder, Colorado, aren't complaining about what
No,
Coach Prime is bringing to the table. They're
no.
not complaining about his
Why
swagger
should they?
because there's a big time economy boost in Boulder, Colorado, right now.
Yeah, matter of fact,
And they, these people,
I'm
go
about
ahead,
wanting to
Coach.
get. I'm about wanting to get me a hot dog stand and roll the Boulder. Get me some Nathan hot
Yeah,
dogs and get on the corner after the game.
Absolutely. I mean, they're just upset because Coach Prime he's doing it his way. He's coaching the game of college football in his own shoes, and he's bringing a type swagger that they're just not used to. But what's wrong with him bringing his swagger? They're upset because he wears gold chains. They're upset because he's wearing the sunglasses. They're upset because he's wearing the Stetson hats. Well, and his kids are dancing around. Well, what is wrong with that when there's a 70-plus-year-old Mac Brown After every Carolina football win, he's in the locker room. If you go on Twitter, he's dancing with his kids. So what is the problem with what Coach Prime and his Colorado kids are doing? I have an issue with these coaches and these media outlets that are coming after him, because you're coming after him for one reason only, and that's because of the swag that he's bringing to college football.
What's up? This is Mike Vick, and you listen to the GQ Coaching Show. Hey, this is Pete Chilcutt, North Carolina Tar Heel and NBA champion. You're listening to the GQ Coaching Show.
This is John Eisenberg, author of Rocket Men, the Black Quarterbacks Who Revolutionized Pro Football. And you are listening to the GQ Coaches Show, the real talk in sports.
Hey, this is Chris Spatola, and you're listening to the GQ Coaches Show, the real talk in sports.
You know, and bottom line to it is, man, you're exactly right, because you want me to I'm gonna throw a lot. You want me to act like the Aflac duck, right? Meaning what? You want everybody to be just alike, just like the coach from Colorado State talking about my mom. I mean, how, I'm gonna say this like this, right? How ignorant can you be? How ignorant can you be to talk about my mama talk right there? I mean, and then just like Coach Prime said, well, how do you go down the road and all of a sudden you get the wins, then you take a left, like. And then they asked him Saturday, he says, I ain't got nothing to say to that coach. He said he did a great job. He said it was old-fashioned butt whooping. He says, no, I'm not going to no. He said, I never talked to no. He said, I never did that when I played, and I'm not going to do that when I'm coaching. He said, I'm not going to tear that man down to do what? He said, the only thing, basically, the guy made it personal. He said, when he said, my mama didn't raise me right. And I'm going to go here with this one, Coach. And unfortunately, just like he said 2 African-American coaches.
Yes, sir.
One of the brothers has got to lose. Now, one of the brothers, you're jealous because it might have took you 30, 40, almost 40 years to get that spot. Here's somebody come in and get that spot instantly. See, here's the thing. Like you said, people upset, but now, you know what I think they're really in? It's because they winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he was rocking the gold chains and doing all that and they putting up L's, people say, oh, he just talked. But the problem is, he's got all that on and he's winning. Now they're scared. People don't, you know what? You're scared by a dog, right? You better do what you got to do, because just like he said, you better beat me now, because guess what?
I'm coming.
And then guess what? Then that opens up doors for everybody else. Look at, I think they say Warren Sapp may be joining the staff as a special assistant to the defensive line. So people want to be a part of that, because guess what? Because he's doing the things that needs to do, because he's given the opportunity. So hats off to Colorado. I'm rolling with Prime. I don't care if they lose against USC or 4 or 5 other games. I watch it every day. I watch the press conference. When we finish up the show, I'm gonna find out what they did today. So listen, folks, you know what? This is my opinion. So you can say whatever you want to say. But listen, I believe when you get a man of that stature coming in, and when you sit down, when you're failing to hear the message, you got a problem. You really do. And it's not you just stop and listen to the message. Listen to the message. Somebody said, well, he went in there and did. Well, guess what? If they gonna open up free agency and I can go out here and I can get me 8 or 9, 10 guys on there, then guess what? But matter of fact, watch this. What were they saying when he was at Jackson State?
They were saying he wasn't good enough to win then either. Exactly. You know, so and that's the thing though, Coach. People don't realize when you open up this portal thing, you pretty much went to free agency, just like in the NFL or the NBA.
That's all it is.
And the objective is to do what? Yeah, the objective is to do what? Get better, right?
Exactly.
So blame it on college football. Don't blame it on Coach Prime.
Exactly. And unfortunately, here's another thing some people may not know. 40% of the kids that go in the portal don't get picked up.
Absolutely.
40%. So you take the gamble of going in the portal, but that's no guarantee that you're going to end up on somebody's squad. So you can call it one and done. Coach K's done it. John Calipari's done it. And some of these coaches say, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, you know what? That's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But do not cross the line when you're trying to talk about this and that. No, that's who he's always been. He's nothing that he's not always. Now, it'd be totally different in the past, and all of a sudden he starts coming to press conferences with hats and shades. That's not, he's always done that. So, well, you need to take his hats and shades. You know what? I'm just like, get over it, right? It's because
Right.
he's not doing it the way you want him to do it. You got problems, right?
Right. And
And
he's
that's
not doing anything wrong.
right. And then you got problems of how he's doing. He got social media in there, and he said we like you know you do whatever you got to do, but if you got to tear another man down to build your stuff up, I'll let you deal with that. So, hey, here's what I want to go right here. Your boys absolutely opened it up against my Pitt Panthers on Saturday night. I know it might have been y'all started out a little shaky. I know we talked earlier. I'm like, because I got back to Raleigh and I was like, hey, coach, is that score right? Yeah, next thing I know, when I got into watching the game, I looked down and they just went on to put it on the what was the key to that ball game?
Well, I tell you what, the key was to me, Carolina defensively in the second half just stepped up. And the kid, Hazizi, I believe is his name, the kick returner, defensive back, man, he had, I think it was 2 touchdowns that he returned back, up against Pitt. And then Carolina's defense knocked Pitt's starting quarterback out of the ball game. And on top of that, Drake May is just a generational talent. The kid is special. Now, Pitt roughed him up. They were real physical with him in that first half. They roughed him up quite a bit. There was a couple plays where I thought may not even get back up because Pitt was roughing him up pretty good. But nevertheless, Mac Brown and the Tar Heels, they withstood, and they're on to bigger and better things. They're starting the season out 4-0.
You know what? That's the main thing, man. So, hats off to them. But I tell you what, last one I want to talk about is that North Carolina State UVA game. How the mighty! I watched that Friday night, and it came down to UVA had 3 15-yard penalties back to back to back, and I'm just like, how in the world do you play major college football and have 3 penalties back to back to back? And then that real quick, the first one they scored a touchdown. The lineman headbutted somebody from North Carolina State. 15-yard penalty. They had to go for 2. They scored the 2, send it into and that's tied up. Then the quarterback for UVA takes his helmet off, so there's a 15-yard penalty there. Then turn around, the penalty assessed on the kickoff. So now they're kicking off from the 25. So now, and they kick it to North Carolina State, who's got the number 1 return guy in the conference. So he gets it over the 50. They scramble Ferguson. He gets down in there. Then they go to kick a field goal. The kid misses it, but there's a penalty down there because the guy jumps over top of the center. And of course, you know that you can't engage in that. So a 15-yard penalty, they mark that off. Then boop, he kicks the field goal, and North Carolina State wins. And I'm like, and of course, I know Coach Elliott personally, and I'm sitting there going, my God, he cannot catch a break. You can't win, Coach, when you got guys that just play. When I say, I don't want to say selfishly, but they can't keep their emotions in check. Your thoughts?
I completely agree. Penalties and turnovers kill you in any ball game. And when you got bonehead penalties, you can't win that way. And it seems like they come untimely penalties at the time of the ball game. And it absolutely hurts you. It crushes your spirits and crushes what you can do on the offensive side of the ball.
You know what? That's the thing that a lot of times people don't understand is when you can't keep it in check and it's going all over the board and all over the page, it's over the top. So, hey, as I look at my clock, man, they're giving me that 7-minute signal. So we're gonna switch on over to the NFL. And you know what? I went to bed on my boys last night. That daggone old line coach, man, I'm here to tell you. First, when they went 3 and out, dude, I got up, turned my stuff off, and I said, my pillow is more important, and it's going to be Monday morning. We just, and of course, we got the dub, and as Coach Tomlin said, we'll stack wins on top of wins, but we didn't execute it all. And I know you guys came up on the short end of the stick, so what was your take on your Commanders?
Man, I tell you what, it's growing pains. When you got a young quarterback who's just making his 3rd official start of in his NFL career, it's pretty tough. 3rd or 4th official start. And you just got to deal with it, the growing pains. He threw 4 bad interceptions. He's holding on to the ball quite a bit. I think he's been sacked like 19 times or something like that to start the season. He's on pace, from what I read, to to going for 108 sacks on the year.
Wow.
Well, part of that's on him. He's got to get that ball out of his hands.
You
Get
know
rid
what?
of it. If it go to your check down, throw it away.
You know what? That's a great call, and that's the same thing. You know, we were spoiled in the Steel City with Ben for the amount of time that we had, and bringing in this. Well, he was a rookie last year, but that's exactly right. I mean, we can't throw it's one game, right? So you guys
Yes,
are
sir.
rocking and rolling. I mean, we got thrashed week one, but you know what? We'll bounce back, and I know you guys will get back in the saddle. But I tell you what, are the Dolphins that good, or did the Broncos lay down, roll over, take the cleats off? What's your take on that?
I don't know that the Dolphins are that good. The Broncos laid down, and Bronco Nation right now should be embarrassed. When Shannon Sharp, one of your Hall of Fame legends, Super Bowl winning tight end, maybe the greatest tight end to ever play the game, tweeted out an apology to the Bronco fans because he didn't appreciate what the Broncos put out there on the field yesterday.
You know what?
Lackluster. As he
was.
said today, you got a 70 points put up on you, 50 piece with 20 extra flats. Man, come on. There comes a point in time where you got to take some pride. You got to take some pride in what you're doing. Stand up. And as he said, as of right now, it's just not good enough. The talent that the Broncos are putting out there on the field is just not good enough. And as he said, people can say it's not Russell Wilson's fault, but
Nope.
Russell should be able to go out and score more than 20 points.
You're right. And that's the same thing. You're not going to beat nobody scoring. And that's the same thing with my Steelers. You're not going to beat anybody putting up 23 points. Holding somebody to 18 points. You're not going to do it. Them Cowgirls, man, I tell you what, they had a rough time yesterday, man. Poor Dak, man. Dak, he just, man, they get down in the red zone and just like, you got to execute. And he throws the pick, man. That's the game. But I tell you what, I will call this coach out. San Diego High now. Heck, you go for it at 4th down and 1, and you're on your 24-yard line. Yeah, you lucky they didn't go down and spike the ball. Excuse me, talking about Minnesota. And you don't go down and spike the ball,
Yes, sir.
and turn back around and pick that and get that dub. I gotta take a sip of my stuff, man, in my throat. And you don't pick that ball up, and you end up, man. Yeah, he might have got fired after that game last night. So you know what? Hey, in the last 3 minutes that we got, Coach, who is your prediction on Monday? What's up with the Monday Night Football running 2 games?
Hey, I'm loving it right now. I wish they'd do it the entire season, but we know it's going to come to a close soon. But in the first ball, I got Philadelphia beating Tampa Bay tonight.
Okay.
And what's the second game?
Oh my gosh, you had to put me on the spot. Second game. Oh my gosh, you know what? Let me pull my notes up right quick, because you know what? I was thinking it was Detroit, because I don't remember, but I think they played last
yesterday.
I'm getting it up right now. Let's see here. And man, he was like, all right, so tonight it is, like you said, Eagle. All right, we got it's the Rams and the Bengals.
Oh man, I tell you what. As much as my heart sits here and says take the Rams, the Bengals need a win. They desperately need a win tonight. So I'm gonna take the Bengals over the Rams, and I got Philly over Tampa Bay.
Okay, so you know what? I'll roll with you on the Eagles over Tampa Bay, but I'm gonna take them Rams over them Bengals, because I need them Bengals to keep on falling, so my boys can keep rolling in that conference. So listen, it's under the 2 minutes, so we're gonna do a quick rapid fire. I'm gonna put Coach Quick on the spot. So I'm gonna throw out a name, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Dean Smith.
The greatest.
LeBron James.
Go.
Tom Brady.
The greatest of all time.
Muhammad Ali.
Again, the greatest of all time.
Tiger Woods.
The greatest of all time.
Coach Prime.
Coming.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than Coach Goins along with Coach Quick. And you know what? We're just sitting here. We're excited tonight to have this opportunity to try a new format. And when when we try something, we go all out. We want to thank all of our sponsors and everybody that's always come alongside us to help us out. So I'm going to kick it to Coach Quick, and he knows where to take it.
For Coach Goins, myself, Coach Quick, we'll see you in the locker room.
You have been listening to the GQ Coaches Show with Coaches G and Q, the real talk in sports.